It sure has its mysteries, huh, guys? For those of you that are watching this video, just know that the reason I'm on Minecraft, it was the only game that I had that really could pass up the opportunity, as one would say. Now, I'm just gonna play as I regularly do, but talking to you guys about something specific. Now, granted that I said that the name of the title of this video is just talking about changes or something, and granted, I'm not talking about big changes. I'm just talking about changes to the channel's name and talking about something else about the channel, but I also named it Appreciation. Or I tried to spell it out and I kept screwing up. Yeah, for those of you that are watching this video, I kind of suck at trying to spell stuff or trying to get stuff like that real easily. Just know that it's not that I don't know how to spell or anything. It's hard for me to spell out big words like that. But don't worry, I improve over time. But anyway, allow me to continue on what I was saying. The reason I chose that I wanted to make a video stating about the certain changes that are going to be happening in the future of the channel, and not just the channel, but some small stuff like the channel's name and the channel's main antagonist, aka meaning LX, like in Dark Holmes, also known as T, as you guys can tell in the videos, we each call each other by our actual names or names that we've just gotten stuck by. Now, most of you may know that, like, as for starters, me and like, most of you probably didn't know is that me and Lycan, or Lycan Sports, or however you want to say it, we actually know each other in real life. So we would sometimes call each other our real names, but on PlayStation we won't do that. If we're with a certain group of friends who actually know us already on the outskirts of the world, we'll start calling each other that or try to keep in contact with this PlayStation wording. Like instead of LX and, well, for instance, Tony, aka Stitch, aka Camelot, Chameleon, or whatever his name is supposed to say. Trust me, I know I should know this, but like, we call him Stitch, but that's really not his name. But that's just the name that me and the others in the group, except Alex, have just stuck with. It's something that we adapted to, and we can't just change it out of the sheer will of it. Just like Alex and T and Stitch all know my name. My real name, too. But the thing is that they just got used to calling me LX. I mean, not LX, but Dark Eyes is because, well, that's the name that they've known to commonly call me by. If they just started randomly calling me by my actual name, it'd be kind of weird, not just for them, but for me as well. Granted, Lycan would call me my real name because I knew him in reality. We both went to school together. Granted, we're both done with school, but that's the way we always called each other. We never called each other by our PlayStation names unless we were with a group of people who we didn't want to reveal what we were or who we were. And granted, you should never do that on PlayStation. But with these guys, we kinda already knew them. We just started to reconnect with them as well. But let's say we met on a game, well, I actually wanted to tell you guys more about the group's main purpose on the channel. Even though it was only supposed, originally the channel was just supposed to be for me, just doing stupid crap on YouTube, hopefully doing enough to make people happy whoever saw my videos. Yes, this was mainly just to be happy for other people. Granted that if I did something wrong, I would tell my viewers and they would easily, for instance, tell me, and I would gladly change what I was doing. But when I told LX I had a YouTube channel originally that kind of spoke out to him, he wanted to do something like that. Do a couple of YouTube videos. Now, granted, when we were doing YouTube videos together at first, it looked like stuff was going the same as usual. I would only get a couple of reviewers, aka meaning people I already knew who would probably subscribe to my channel, mainly family. But then when I started getting more people viewing the channel, with LX's help, of course, because, let's face it, this guy's hilarious. The stuff he says and the stuff he does want to say, which normally he can't really get away with or thinks until people think it's funny, you have to admit it's kind of funny to hear that coming from somebody as interesting as Alex. Now, granted, what I mean by interesting is not in a weird kind of way. What I mean is that his personality in the videos changes from the way he talks to us. Even though it's not as much different as he usually talks to us, and yes, what I mean by that is in the videos, how you would hear him is how he would actually talk to us. Yeah, put a big punch in there, didn't I? anyway, as I was saying though, Alex's personality allows him to be not just friendly. He's got he's got the friendship that I've actually never knew existed. He's got that friendship that says, I will always be here to respect and dow you. But he's also got that side of the friendship that says, you make me mad, goodbye. Or in better terms of LX, it's more like, you piss me off, goodbye. Alex is the kind of friend who would stick up for his friends if he knows they didn't do anything wrong. If you say they did something wrong and his friend is willing to admit it, he respects that out of the friend. But if the friend hides that away, saying, hey, I didn't do anything when really they did, Alex would disagree and most likely still take your side until proven guilty, like a court wife. Alex is that type of friend who doesn't like to pick fights, but doesn't want his fights to be picking the fights. He doesn't like being drawn into the center of attention of the fight. If he has to pick a side, he's not going to pick the friends who are fighting. He's going to pick his own, meaning staying out of the way and not trying to pick any fights. And that's the kind of friend of Alex that I like and I respect with all my heart and with all my, well, technically speaking, my own kind of aura, aka manliness, but I'm going to say my own kind of friendship. Now, I get their names mixed up because here's the thing. Stitch and T or Tony or whatever the stakes are, I'm sorry, and trust me, I'm going to punch myself in the face later for saying this, but they both shared the same account at one point until one of them got enough money to buy his own PlayStation and his own account. So we always got used to just calling the person whoever was on just by one person, not just by two, which is something me and Lycan both need to add nicknames for, so that way we never get mixed up. And once we get the style of the name of right, and actually stop screwing up, we can actually be calmer heads about it. Because trust me, if somebody kept mixing up my name because of something that was so simple, I would be mad as well. Trust me, I would. So what I mean about this simply is that, well, they both kind of have the same personality, except one will not take bull crap as much as the other one would. For you see, Stitch is the kind of person where, hey, if he gets killed in a video game, sure, he gets mad because he got killed. Who doesn't get mad? We're gamers. Gamers always get mad that they died either in stupid ways. But if they died in a sensible way, say they just got shot because they ran out of ammunition, he respects that and will back off. But if it's with a car or a truck, you can see where that was going to go. Freedom punch to the face, that would be. Now, the thing about, well, T is that he respects everyone, mainly whoever doesn't make him mad. Allow me to shed some light on that, though. Camelot, or whichever the account he was using at the time, I'm forgetting, he gives you respect as long as you don't disrespect out of its way. Meaning that if you're nice to him and you're nice to his friends, he's nice to you, but if you so much as shed a finger of anxiety towards anyone in the group that he immediately respects or cares about, mainly cares about LX, and really I don't know how he feels about me, but I'm pretty sure if LX and me were having situations where we didn't like somebody, he would be on our side 100%. He's got that loyalty to him that makes you wish every friendship was like that. Where to start with Lycan is another thing. Lycan is one of those friends where he doesn't take bullcrap. Not joking. He won't take the bullcrap unless it's like something jokishly absurd or something that you think you would never get. I'll just say this to you all now. Me and Lycan met in. Excuse me, everybody. Didn't mean to do that. Anyway, Lycan was my very first friend ever in school who didn't immediately leave me because of graduation. Granted, I had other friends or acquaintances in school. I had my pals in school who would always talk me into going with them places or inviting me to places that I've never done before. Now, I haven't probably said this in a video, but as a kid for me, it sucked. Not family wise and not sibling wise, friendship wise. It was hard for me to talk or communicate to other people or kids, so it was hard for me to make friendships. It was really sad. For me, at least. For anybody else, they probably didn't give a flying canine what I thought. But in general, I met Lycan and many of my other PlayStation friends. Now, granted, on my PlayStation, there, as many of you couldn't see, but visualize that I had a group of people who I would always play games with. The problem was about that is that was when my channel was starting to just be known as nothing. It was nothing really special or good. So the people I tried to do videos with weren't really around. But then when I met my group, I wanted to make the channel back up again, just doing videos on us doing the games we were doing. It still was funny to me thinking about it this day. But then, bad stuff started coming our way. Anyway, let me finish with Lycan and I'll continue what I was saying. Lycan's that friend who will always have your back. He's got the sensible reasoning of LX, plus the courage and the tenacity. I know what that word means, yes, but I will not say it because I did actually forget the dictionary part of it. But Lycan has that certain friendship that he knows what a friendship should be. And if you don't know what it should be, then you have no business being friends with him. Luckily for me, and a certain couple of other individuals when we were there at that school together, he knew exactly what we all did and what we all needed. I'll admit this, the first time I met Lycan, it was a bumpy road for me. I didn't know how to talk to anybody else my age or even under or over. So really in school I was the outcast. I was the person no one really got until it was too late. Now, granted, during this time, over time, I started to grow into that little part of me that can handle talking to other people, trying to make friends. But Lycan helped me push that emotion out more than I could ever have done myself. So did LX and Stitch and Tony. All my group of friends brought out pieces of me I thought I never actually had. each one of them taught me a lesson about myself and about life that really, it makes me ashamed to say this, that I should have known from the very beginning. And every time I was told these lessons, I really never got a hold of anything that I was even saying in my own head. And really, I should have. Oh, excuse me, everybody. Anyway, Alex taught me, each one of them taught me a valuable lesson or perspective. And I'll gladly tell you each what each person told me. Alex taught me something about life that even I didn't even understand. That who cares what, he gives you that kind of, shut up, I know what I'm saying, and you better not judge me for it. Alex is that kind of friend who will stick up for what's right. But if it doesn't make sense, he won't stick up for it unless you explain to him why it was so important. And I think what else got us all together, now that I say this out loud, what I also feel like got us all to be friends again too, is that we all got each other's emotions, and not only that, but problems that we were all kind of facing in reality, that many of us wish we could get rid of in reality as well. We, when me and Lycan first, when, to be honest, when I first saw Lycan's house with his family, they were nice and they were nice people. They were. But the differences of nice in family wise relationships is a lot more complicated than I thought. Let's say we every teenager and every person, every kid, teenager, adult and elderly each have different opinions on family's problems. Now granted for me, I'm the nightmare of the family. Ugh. Trust me, I know because I can even see my own causes. Lycan's family's a little bit different though. They all love each other and they all respect and want to get along. It's just that each one of them has different tastes in the family that causes them not to get along as well. So they each keep their distance. Which isn't bad at all. Keeping their distance means not fighting or keeping them away for too long could cause you to lose your family. Anyway, anyway, T and Tony kind of fall under the same category. Sticking up for yourself no matter the cause of what you did. Now, granted, Tony and T have this little rage capacity, meaning that when they get killed or dead or get killed by something stupid like getting caught on a car or being killed in a stupid way that shouldn't have killed anybody, they get mad and frustrated. But that's because they feel like the way they died isn't right. They shouldn't have died because of a vehicle or because of a grenade or because of a object exploding or if in like in Call of Duty a care package landing on them and killing them mid instantly. That's the kind of stuff that says no. You shouldn't win like that. You should win head on with the guns in Call of Duty, guns you have, and shoot it out, and just hope you win. Now, our friend Alex died that way from the care package, and he had every right to be mad. I would be mad too if I died that kind of way. And trust me, I would be mad about a lot of things. Lycan taught me actually two things, but I'll split them up into groups. The first is I know I'm only human. Let me just say this, me and Lycan make a lot of mistakes, and mistakes that aren't easy to come back from. And it's kind of hard to say this about myself because I wish it wasn't true, but it is. The life I've chosen is because of my own kind of stupid behavior. I'll admit this, when I was a kid, I was not like the person I am now. The person I was as a kid, I was really stupid and idiotic. And trust me on that. It was something I wish I could take back from the very beginning of my day of waking up. When I went into school when I was younger, it wasn't easy, like I said. I didn't have a lot of communicational vows, and I never really got anything of the school until students started teaching me that stuff. Believe it or not, I went to three different schools in my life. I went to three different schools. It was either because I was failing my classes and I wouldn't tell anybody what the reasons were, or it was because bullying, mainly, and bullying was the main reason. Kids would often pick on me in school, and I really never would get the chance to figure it out. But when I went to my final school, expecting kids to just pick on me and I'd just be heading to being homeschooled, kids actually tried helping me. Granted, during the first 2 weeks, I wasn't talking. Yes, yes. And for those of you bronies out there that are probably saying, oh, you're pulling a Fluttershy, I swear if you say that in the comments, I'm going to find you. Just kidding. I would never stoop to that level, but I will be sincerely mad. I was quiet not because I was shy, but because I was scared I would screw it up and cause another person to be mad at me or cause a ruckus. Kids actually tried talking to me, but since I wasn't mentally or physically prepared, I kind of just wrote my words and not or typed them into the tablet I carried around in school. Yes, I had an IEP, so I was able to have my tablet because of that reason. But just know, mine was really a big mental reason. Don't try it, unless you really for sure think you do. Anyway, anyway, the one of the people to lift me up from that kind of experience was Lycan. I won't say his real name because it's not my place or business, but at that time, he picked me up whenever I didn't want to get up. He protected me from people who really wanted to hurt me. Eventually, I got really mad one day, and to be honest, he helped me hold back that inner rage I wanted to unleash, telling me it wasn't worth it, and he was right. One day, though, in school, a couple of kids, for some reason, didn't like me. The reasoning being, I don't know. And what I mean by that is, I literally have no idea why. And granted, I didn't really understand at all. One of them was an old ally of mine's, and I say this because me and her boyfriend, and yes, the girl who was messing with me was a girl, and trust me, I'll tell you about her in a second, but the reason I say acquaintance to her boyfriend is because her boyfriend was actually a person in another school, is a person I knew in another school, who just randomly transferred to this new school of mine, who he was just the first beginner, even though he was in another grade, but he just got there. Now, other kids, just like Lycan, were there. I'll say their first names because it should be noted that they should be known. So, I met a couple of other kids named Kevin, Isaac, Chris, and a bunch of others. And they pulled my life together to where it went places I never even knew existed. I'm sorry, continuing on, Lycan showed me that being down doesn't mean you can't get back up. Now, I know what most of you are probably saying, like, what the hell does he mean by this? Lycan taught me to never just stay down when Lycan always taught me to never stay down when people counted me out. Even if I do fail, at least, even if I do try, I never fail. Failing doesn't mean that you actually failed in something. If failing means you never gave it the time or the chance to do it. And trust me, for me that meant a lot of things. Now this next group of people I'm going to talk to you about, we don't really talk anymore. But they did teach me something, and not in a bad way, though, to the way we stopped communicating. Frost. Frost was one of those friends. I'm gonna give you their background information, meaning no, not like that, like stealing their money. No, not like that, like stealing their money and garbage. What I meant was their background of how we became friends. The background meaning friendship and what they actually did to change the way I saw the real world. For instance, Frost, I'm not gonna lie here. Frost was kind of a bit annoying when he came into the group. He was always getting mad and he was always dying in stupid ways to where he would yell and scream a lot to where we had to mute him to calm down the agonizing yelling. But that's when his lesson kind of came in. His lesson was really finding the bliss in everything. And yes, I take that literally. Now, for a gamer who had a lot of rage, like many other gamers, Frost was that person who would get mad if you said something in a way that didn't make sense to him, but he saw it as offensive. I remember one time where I accidentally made Frost mad, but I didn't do anything, well, verbally to say to him. You see, it started when we were playing a game of Call of Duty Blackout. For some reason, he said something in a Spanish language. And Frost, if you're listening to this, it sounded like Spanish, which is why I'm saying it's Spanish. It could be another language. If it is, let me know. But he was saying something in another language, and then I killed him as he was gone from his controller. I didn't know this because he didn't say anything to tell us, hey, I was off my controller. If you see somebody standing still, don't kill me. He didn't do that. But what I would also like to say is that out of nowhere, he started calling me a racist and just dipped out of the voice channel, and not only that, but and yes, I also mean the party, but the game as well, and then unfriended me, and not only that, he blocked me on the friends list as well. So that way, if he saw our old friend Bolts in the party, he would only see Bolts and not me, and if he saw me, he would defriend me immediately. Or not defriend, but he would leave immediately. A week passed and he calmed down and he re-added me as a friend. I asked him if he learned that lesson of his, but he never answered, so I would take that as a yes, he just didn't want to admit it. But Frost is that person where acceptance has always got to be a suggestion at one point in your life. At the time being of that, of course, Bolts, aka meaning Bolts Dragon. Bolts was that friend who always wanted our group to stay together. Unfortunately, when times started to change, so did he. Me and Bolts first became friends on Black Ops when Black Ops 3 was still kinda new in the zombie department. What did I mean by that? Well, when Black Ops 3 was getting all its maps for zombies, yes, we met on zombies on multiplayer. Yes, I know, agony. But we met on Chronicles, aka meaning there were a couple of maps where I was playing and I got not even gonna stretch this kindness. My teammates on the other games I was on sucked. first off, they didn't have mics, so they couldn't talk, but I always had this one person in my group who would talk non-stop about how trashy the rest of us were, but he was the one that was doing all the deaths and going down and, having to be picked up. And not even a single thank you. That's the part of you that says, shut up. Believe it or not, we had a person like that when I met Bolts. And we both muted him immediately, and we both kind of just said in our own language, what an idiot. Now, me and Bolts were kind of just saying words on words of the game, aka meaning like this, like get down, zombies, there's a panzer, or something like that. Yeah, trust me, normal gamer crap. But Bolts is a funny guy. He was funny, and he did teach me a couple of things, but none of which stuck. So I had to actually just say one thing. The thinking criticals. Now, what I mean by this is mainly three reasons. Three reasons here. One is, well, for starters, number one is knowing that there's always change in the world. When Bolts and me stopped communicating, I literally did nothing to him after the game. But after that, he kind of just deleted everyone off his friends list and he kind of just, went on his merry way. He taught me that friends and other people change. Second would be the category of emotionals. Excuse me again. Anyway, Bolts taught me that everyone has emotions. Whether it be mostly shown by rage, sadness, depression, you name it, he showed me that everyone has emotions, even people who don't show it. And the people that don't show it have the emotions, they just don't know how to show it. And trust me, I know that. That little nit that people need. Anyway, allow me to continue what I was saying. Now, according to most of the time I was with Bolts, though, this third lesson, I don't think it was really needed. The third lesson I learned from Bolts about reality or even myself, it was kind of sad to realize it, really. Because not only did I have to go through this, but many of my other friends in the group that I still talk to, or friends in reality that I talk to, are still here to this day that handle that situation. Realizing your life wasn't all that you made it to be. Now, this wasn't meant to be said in a bad way. What I mean by this category is that your life is going to be something you want it to be. Now that was a few couple slaps to the face. Literally. So when I look at myself in that way, it's kind of like this. Look up, be straight, be correct. Trust me when I say that, too. Now, granted, I'm not really talking right now, and I'm kind of trying to get this thing fixed, but yes, what I mean by that is that Bolt showed me a life to where you could basically make your life better just by shutting yourself off from the system or the you that's on system and trying to merge you. Bolts kind of taught me there are two people in the world. There's the you in reality, meaning the real you, and then there's the you that puts on the act, aka meaning the mask, the act, the play person. Not play boy or play girl, but the play person, meaning that you play an act of your own wannabe dreamy self, that you don't actually see that the real you is dying away. The you want to be, and that's kind of what upsetted me. I kind of started to become something else that I hated for so many years. About other teens or kids who were okay of being what they were what the that person of them was turning into. So when Bolts helped me realize this by pretending to be somebody he wasn't and then admitting that he wasn't that person, I stepped up and told him the same thing as me. I was telling him I was just trying to be this good friend, but I told them already that I was the bullied kid, the kid who never got to have real friendships. But they never treated me any different because of it. They actually praised me for admitting that I wasn't all who I was. I told them the reason I'm more confident and more talkative in video games is because you can't see who I am. You can't see who I am or who I try or pretend to be. And that's the me where I'm like, yes, that's exactly it. Now, for this one last person I have to tell, I don't really want to. Now, granted, this person did teach me something, but it's not my reasoning to tell the world who their real name is. So I'm just gonna say he, because at least you understand it was a guy, actually a girl, who taught me this. Because technically speaking, two people taught me this lesson, but only one of them should really get the praise. The person I'm talking about right now is an old friend who I actually haven't talked to in a while. She taught me that her name, like I said, wasn't my concern, but her name was really every day when I went to my grandmother's house, she would always be there, waiting and wanting to have fun. She wanted to be that part of me that always said, "Hey, get up and let's have fun." She was, as many of you would think, the happy one or the lovable one in the group. Granted, she was not always that way, but in my eyes, she always was. I guess you could say I learned a lot more from my friends than I ever could about anything else. Now, for those of you on the channel, I should probably mention about two things. One, we're changing the name of the channel to Dark Eyes Dragon for the channel because my name on the PlayStation, as many of you probably saw, was Dark Eyes, which is why they call me Dark. But for most of you, it's going to be, for most of you for the channel, this is just our group name. You can call us all just Dark or LX or Stitch or our PlayStation names or Lycan, whatever you see and you feel comfortable using. Now, I should also probably say this too. I'm glad I saw I hit 20 subscribers, and a lot of people have been watching my videos. Bless you, and I hope that more videos will bring you happiness. This is Dark, and I'll see you all later. Bye!